Hi, I'm HC. For weekly videos on self-knowledge and self-discovery, like this video and hit the subscribe button. It will be of tremendous help for the future of this channel. Here are the 5 steps on how to think positive. Step 1. Be mindful. In this context, to be mindful means to observe but don't absorb. This means that while you may be the witness to or in proximity to influences that you feel are opposed to your growth, be wary of adopting those habits and attitudes into your way of life. To be mindful is to be aware of what is around you and the effects that they have on the way that you think, feel, and act. This means that not because you are going through a negative circumstance that you have to respond negatively. And not because someone has ill will towards you doesn't mean that you should replicate this behavior. By not being mindful, it is easy to get caught in a web of negativity because our egos want to sort of seek justice by fighting negativity with more negativity, as if out negativing a person will give us any reward or value. It is important to remember that negativity is like a virus, a very contagious one at that. Think of negativity like an actual poison. A person poisoned by negativity spreads the poison by encouraging you to be negative, thinking that you will solve that negativity by also being negative, which in the end leaves 2 of you poisoned by negativity instead of just one person. And this continues to multiply until someone is mindful enough to stop the spread. Always remember, misery loves company. You do not have to be a reflection of what you see. Rather, acknowledge your surroundings so that you are able to maneuver around them. Step 2. Set boundaries. In this context, to set boundaries is to imagine your mind as a beautiful, open field. And because your mind is an exposed field full of flowers and other vegetation, it can attract a lot of unwanted and sometimes unexpected guests, such as intruders or farmers that want to take from your crops, and maybe wild animals that want to eat at will and potentially damage your field. Think of setting boundaries as putting up a literal fence around that field to have a better control over what comes onto your field, but also to acknowledge what comes out. Setting boundaries is an important element to positive thinking because when you have clear boundaries, you can be more accountable for what happens and does not happen in your reality, and therefore you are in a better position to tweak or fix elements that may be drawing you towards negativity. Setting boundaries will help you realize why you are going through something or why you are thinking in a certain type of way, because whatever is happening, you will be aware that it is happening on your field, and your field means your responsibility. Setting boundaries creates a screen to limit certain influences from affecting your mind. You're not rude for setting a boundary that's beneficial for your well-being. Step 3. Detox your mind. Before we can start thinking positive, it is important to acknowledge and be aware of the current state of our mind. Think of this like wanting to build a castle. If the foundation of the castle is wet sand, no matter how well you build the castle going forward, it will still sink because its foundation is not a solid one. Detoxing your mind is similar to giving yourself a fresh start and to ground yourself with the reality of things. There are many ways to detox your mind, but a very simple and common way is to spend time alone, either in meditation or simply in reflection of your life and your surroundings. With the help of this introspection, you will be able to have a better idea of what is troubling you and what would be the source of negative thinking in the first place. Always remember, to fix your problems, you must first understand why the problem is there, and detoxing is a great way to do so. Otherwise, you will always be dealing with the symptoms of your issue, which in this case would be negative thinking, which promotes a negative perspective and lived experience, instead of ever being able to deal with the source of the issues at hand. Step 4. Be intentional with your time. To be intentional with your time is to be mindful of where you're putting your energy, why, with whom, and on what. Being intentional with your time will help you direct your energy in places that will inspire growth, as opposed to directing that force into frivolous activity that will likely encourage negative thinking. This means to mind who you spend your time with and who is even in position to request of your time. As said by recording artist Russ, you cannot allow everyone to have access to you. Your energy needs to be protected at all times. There are unconscious people at every step of the way trying to infiltrate and pollute your mental, emotional, and spiritual space. It is important to accept that sometimes we simply fall into negative thinking because we enter negative spaces. Think of this like jumping in the ocean and hoping that you don't get wet, or wanting peace and quiet yet going to a parade. By being intentional with your time, you are aware of where you are going and why, so that you can have a better grasp on how your energy is being spent. It's never too late to be intentional with your time. Step 5. Have faith. Having faith is an essential element to thinking positively, because with faith, you are able to surrender and rest your mind in confidence that what is meant for you cannot pass you, and what passes you was not meant for you, at least not in that moment. To have faith is to trust that even though the road may be rocky, you are possible, and you are deserving of the actualization of your truth. To have faith is to trust that when it's meant to happen, things happen in unexplainable ways. Be open to the many ways that the universe naturally works. To have faith is similar to acting as though it were impossible to fail, because it means to focus forward despite what has gone on behind you and what is going on either side of you. Don't focus on how things will work. As long as you know where you are going and you let go of what is not helping you get there, you are showing the universe that you are willing to become, and therefore you must be. You may have to give something up in order to get something else, but always remember, you can't have 1 foot in your old life and 1 foot in your new life and expect change. You have to fully commit to positive thinking. Smile and be grateful about it. It's only the beginning for you. Positive thinking is the difference between an open mind, ready to explore, and one that is recluse and stagnant in fear. This is why knowing how to think positive is such an important factor on the journey of you becoming your best you. Thank you for watching this video until the end. You are appreciated. I'll see you here next time on Howell Consultations, the how-to being true to you.